Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So in today's foundation review video, we're tackling the Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. Yeah, there's been a whole lot of claims and a whole lot of requests for me to review this foundation. Actually, it's meant to be like oil-proof, sweat-proof, transfer-proof. It's just meant to be like the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, that's hard though because I like my carbs a lot. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing out this foundation on my oily textured skin type. If you are new here, that's the situation that we are working with. And then I'm going to be wearing it all day and we'll do check-ins and stuff. I'll show you the formula really close up. I'll show you how it looks on my skin really nice and close up. And basically we're just going to see if it's actually worth the dollars and worth your time. I feel like I've placed a whole lot of it's up on a pedestal, this one. There's a lot of really, really positive reviews. A lot of people really rave on about this one, and I've had a lot of requests to review it. So yes, if you were interested in seeing a full first impressions review and wear test on the Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation, then please keep on watching. Now to begin, let's learn a little bit about this guy. So you get 30 ml of product in this one. It retails for $44 US. I'll just quickly check the Australian price. Sephora.com.au, 66 Australian dollars that you will pay for this one. And this one, from what I can tell, does come in 24 shades. It looks like they've got a reasonable balance of, lighter shades and then deeper shades. But certainly it does look like the middle, like medium skin tone shades is generally what this one mostly makes up. I have got two shades of the foundation here, Driftwood and Olive. For reference point, I am an NC30 in MAC. So it'll be interesting to see if either of these do match. So the formula, let's talk about the claims. It says foundation redefined ultimate coverage in a surprisingly weightless and breathable cream. Perfectly balanced distribution of pigment and water. Now from what I saw on the Becca website, I feel like this has got 22% water. Hang on. Ingredients, key benefits, here we go. Yeah, full coverage, 22% water, 24-hour wear, water resistant. It says it allows the formula to adapt to all skin types. So whether you're dry, whether you're oily, whether you're, nice in the middle, this is meant to work for you. Lightweight, oil-free, creates a second skin effect of undetectable, flexible coverage with a natural long-wearing finish. Like, it actually sounds like amazing. Maybe I wonder, does it do the dishes and take the kids to school too? Maybe. I don't know. Intense pigment ensures that uneven texture, redness, hyperpigmentation, and other imperfections are concealed. The 22% water adds hydration and an elastic finish to prevent pigments from settling into fine lines, dryness, or pores. Oh, so not only is it supposed to last all day, 24 hours, and just be like hella full coverage, it's supposed to not settle into fine lines. So we'll see how this goes. So this is the box that it comes in, and the packaging is really nice. And then this is what the actual foundation looks like. It's actually a really, really nice little bottle. You've got a little sticker on the bottom, plastic, silver cap. Pump applicator. We do like that, don't we, guys? So this is Driftwood and this is Olive. Oh, I might have actually chosen perfectly. That literally never happens. Buying foundation online is such a hard thing to do. Ultimate coverage 24 hour doesn't really say too much else. All right, cool. Well, let's get into the application. Now, as always, I'm going to be applying my, ultimate holy grail, best of the best primer on one side of my face, the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. You guys know how much I love this. And then I'm going to leave the other side of my face unprimed. It gives you guys the opportunity to see how products work, on a primer and without a primer. Smoothing this onto the skin. Oh, I feel like today's already getting away from me. I've got so much to do, guys. Oh, guys, actually, I need to talk about this now. Otherwise, this Friday's video, or Thursday if you are in the United States or the UK, is the official launch of my first Nikkia Joy Cosmetics, actual makeup product. We're launching more than one product. I'm so, I am freaking out. I'm absolutely freaking out. I get so nervous when I talk about it. So this Thursday's video, or this Friday if you are in Australia, I'm going to be revealing the product. I'm going to be showing you the product, and it's going to be actually available for sale as well. So make sure you do not miss that video. Video is going up 12 p.m. PST, which translates to 5 or 6 a.m. in Australia. I'm not 100% sure, but it's finally happening. Make sure you don't miss it, and make sure you're following the Nikkia Joy Cosmetics Instagram page as well, because all of the launch stuff is going to be, unveiled and revealed over there. All right, we are primed. Oh, I just love how this primer feels. Honestly, it's so good. Now, shade matching. I'm going to try Driftwood. I feel like sand may look a little deep, and I did notice on the website, on the Becca website, it does say if you're struggling to find your perfect match, to go a shade down because it is so full coverage and there's so much pigment in it. Let's pump this bad boy out and see what the actual formula is like. It takes a while to come out. All right, so it's definitely a cream consistency. It is sort of warming up and moving down the back of my hand. Doesn't feel like a moussey texture. It doesn't feel particularly heavy or anything. Looks good. Maybe it oxidizes a bit as well. Maybe that's why they recommend to go a shade down. But I'm going to try it with both a brush and a sponge, I think. Yep, I'm going to start with a sponge. Doesn't really have too much of a scent to it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she full coverage. She is full coverage. So I'm first going in and applying to the side where I have applied that primer. Oh, she full coverage. Damn. It's actually a good time to do a foundation test. I ate sugar. This weird thing happens whenever I eat sugar. Like if I haven't eaten sugar for a long time. So I think last week I hadn't had any sugar or like really any carbs in a big way. And then I like smashed like some hot cross buns and some chocolate and stuff on the weekend. And I break out in this full on rash, like red dots all over my face. It goes down my neck onto my chest. So I'm still coming out of that. So it's a good time to try foundation to see actually how well it covers all of that. It says covering it beautifully. It does look lovely on the skin, and color-wise, I think we're pretty good. It looks beautiful over that primer. Let's try it on this side without the primer. It's applying really well with a sponge as well. Like I'm not really having any issues. Yeah, looks good. I would definitely say as a first impression from first, looking at it, I do feel like it looks much smoother on the side with a primer. Makes sense because that's the whole purpose of a primer. I mean, some foundations you can't see straight away, but I can definitely see with this one straight away the difference to the overall smoothness of the skin. It does look better with the primer. Grabbing a foundation brush now. I'm going to start to apply it with a brush and we'll see how that goes. It said to sweep horizontally, so let's do that. This is a fairly soft foundation brush as well. Don't get anywhere near as much coverage with a brush, certainly with that application method, so I'm going to stipple instead. And based on the amount of foundation that I've used to do my forehead there, I personally would not be getting a full face of coverage out of just one pump. You definitely need to use more product than they recommend. I've already run out. I've already run out of product on the back of my hand. And the coverage isn't perfect. I'll zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit better. But, yeah, the coverage really goes down in coverage when you use a brush. Really does. Okay, so here is my skin nice and close up. You can see, hopefully, there's still patches of darkness, and you can still see certainly my freckles, patches of darkness underneath my eyes where I've used it with the brush. But for the most part, for areas on my chin where I've applied it with the sponge, the coverage does look fantastic. It has dried down to a point. It's still a little bit tacky, but it has dried down. I think I'm going to take a little more and, kind of build up the coverage on the top part of my face. But if you're really wanting like full coverage, I wouldn't be using a brush with this one. I'd be using a sponge. I do feel like it looks a lot smoother with a sponge as well. Just overall, it's better with a sponge. So here is what my skin is looking like now. This is the side here with no primer. So this is what the skin's looking like. It's got like a dewy sort of ish finish to it. Like there's a little bit of a glisten. I don't think it's going very well with my enlarged pores, to be honest. I do really feel like the pores on this part of my face on both sides are looking quite enlarged. It does seem quite flexible. It has settled into my fine line on this side of my mouth here. I don't know if I'm in love with how this is looking on my skin, to be honest, but Here is the side with no primer. For the most part, it looks reasonably smooth. I do feel like it's a little cakey around my mouth here. I don't know, it kind of just looks like a little bit dry. But yes, side with primer, this is what the skin is looking like. Oh, sorry, side without primer, this is what the skin is looking like. And then side with the primer. I feel like it does look a lot smoother on the side with the primer. So at this point in time, without wearing it all day, I would say, use this one with the primer. My forehead, it's definitely settling. I've got like a crease happening here, here, and here. And usually foundations on me don't settle that fast. And there's definitely like a big crease like on the side of my mouth here. But yes, I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'll be back to show you guys what it's looking like after it's been powdered down, and then we're going to start the wear tests. All right, so I'm back and I've got the rest of my makeup on, just keeping it really cash today, going natural. So I put a little bit of concealer underneath my eyes because I felt like I did still need it, just a little bit under there, and I've also powdered down the foundation, and this is what it is looking like. I'm not really 100%, happy with how my skin is looking. I just feel like it looks quite dry and dehydrated. It's certainly settled in fine lines. It's certainly settled in a crease up here on my forehead. And I don't find that foundations do normally settle that much up there. I do feel like it's settled in, a lot of my favorite foundations. But at the same time, also some of my favorite foundations do look quite dry when I do first apply them. And then my natural oils come through and it's like, wow, match made in heaven. So not sure yet, but let's zoom in so you can see my skin close up. So here is the side of my face without the primer. I do still feel like, I just think it looks quite textured. So I can see texture sort of here beside my mouth, here up, like beside my nose. I was going to say on my chin, like that is not my chin. Top lip, you can see a bit of texture. You can see a little bit of texture under here. It's not perfectly smooth. It's not, by all means, it's not the worst foundation that I've ever worn, but it doesn't look 100% perfect on my skin. And then here is the side with the primer. We do have creasing and settling in this smile line that I do have here. The same thing on the top of the lip, although I feel like it looks smoother underneath my mouth and sort of along my jawline on this side with the primer. As an overall, I do still feel like it looks much better when you apply a primer first. And then here is my forehead close up. You can see these creases. To be honest, I just do not normally get these at all. Even here, like it's creasing here. Just there's texture going on already, which is unfortunate. But I'm going to stay positive and I'm going to continue wearing this. So I'm going to do my first check-in today at about the 6-hour mark, pretty much how I always do. And then the last check-in will be tonight when I'm taking my makeup off. So yeah, I will see you guys soon. And I will take a quick flash photo as well so you can see what it looks like under flash photography. But yeah, I will see you guys later on today. All right, guys, so I am back with my first check-in for this foundation and I'm still, to be honest, not really sure how I feel about this one. It's certainly not as bad as it was when I initially applied it. Like, I feel like it does look a little bit better, but at the same time, I've got some different issues cropping up that I didn't have at the start, even though some of the issues from the start have kind of gotten a bit better. Let's zoom in so that you know what I mean. Okay, so first up, obviously you can still see that we've got the creasing happening. So we've got creasing on the sides of my mouth here, and we've still got creasing on my forehead here. Like, that hasn't gone away even though some of my oils have come through. There's a little bit still here, and it still looks very, like, it looks textured and it does look quite heavy on the skin. And I am finding that sort of, fairly well everywhere. If you can see, like, you look quite closely along, down here, underneath on my chin, it's starting to look quite cakey. And also I have noticed, which is a recent issue, on my top lip, and sort of like it all disappeared around my nose, but on my top lip, when I stretch my top lip, it's actually separating. The foundation is pulling apart on the top of the skin, and you can see my skin underneath. I don't know, hopefully you can see it on camera. You probably can't, but yeah, it's not looking amazing. It's not like the most beautiful, perfect looking foundation on the skin, but I do definitely have to say that since my oils have come through, it's certainly settled down a whole lot. It looks less dry. I feel like it might look less cakey than it did originally when I first applied it. It's controlling oil and shine very, very, very well. You know, I've got I've got a little bit, like I can feel the oils there, but I don't feel like my face looks particularly like over the top shiny. Yeah, so I'm sort of like, there are things that are good, there are things that aren't good. It's too early to make up my mind, basically. I can't tell at this point whether or not I like it or if I don't like it. I didn't like it when I first applied it, but I do feel like it's looking a lot better now. Sort of the cokiness and the separating and the settling into fine lines. I feel like my pores look better here than they did earlier. Like when I first applied it, and like I looked at the footage after I filmed it and I was like, whoa, your pores look massive, Nikkia. So I feel like my pores look better, so that's a win. The flash photo went fine. I'll pop it up on screen here now, but there was no flashback with this one at all. It looked beautiful in photos. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to update you guys on for the minute. I will see you all later on tonight. Fingers crossed, things are looking a little bit better then. Hey guys, so I'm back with my final check-in for the day. It is quite late at night here now. I've had this foundation on for about 12 and a half hours. No good. Honestly, from a distance, it looks beautiful. Probably from this distance, it probably looks absolutely lovely. And to be fair, it is fairly good with oil production, fairly good with shine. I am shiny, as you can see, but it's not like, whoa, who drenched her with a hose? But it completely has separated all down here on my chin, on my top lip. It's transferred off the end of my nose. Even though I'm so oily, like I still have these really visible like creases on my forehead, which I don't normally have. I've still got settled creases on the sides of my mouth. Oh, there's so much texture. Oh, girl. Let's zoom in. So hopefully you can see this really well. There's heaps of texture all up the side of my jaw, all underneath my mouth, all on the top of my lip, and it just separates. Like as you move, as you talk, you can see like little bits of skin in between the foundation. It's just, there you go. Look at my chin. Look how much texture is on my chin there. Like, what? And it's not transfer proof at all. If you can see the end of my nose, I've actually lost the foundation off the end of my nose. Oh my God, look at my top lip. Like, it's just so textured. It's a real bummer. Definitely not crease proof, like I was saying. This is the creases on my forehead. It was one of the biggest claims of this foundation. It was marketed to, you know, not settle into fine lines, not settle into pores, not settle into wrinkles. And I've got really emphasized fine lines, you know, forehead, around my mouth. I feel like my pores are emphasized again. I feel like they weren't too bad in the middle of the day, but now they just, she hasn't been a win, unfortunately. It is a shame. I did quite like the coverage of this one. I do feel like it had really nice coverage, but for me, I need it to look nice, not only when I first applied, and it really just didn't at all, and I need it to look nice throughout the day, and not like I've got gorilla skin. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on this one, guys. Thank you to all of you who did request for me to review the Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I think based on what I've seen for oily skin types, it's not a 24-hour foundation. Like I'm going to need to be... Oh, look what just happened when I touched it. Yuck. It just comes straight off. Yeah, this one's not an oily skin friendly one. Look at the marks it leaves when you touch your face. Gross. So gross. Oh, it's like it's like, oh, my oil has turned into like a makeup remover and it's literally like cleansing the foundation off. That is gross. Not oily skin safe, guys. So for me, this one is going to be a thumbs down. It's certainly not the worst foundation I've ever used. You know, there's plenty of foundations that are much worse than this. I'm curious to mix it. I am really curious to mix this with some of my other foundations, some of my other favorite formulas. I feel like it would be good to add coverage to some lower coverage formulas that are more stable with my skin type. So watch this space, but as a straight up, as is, it's a no-go from me. So there you go, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed today's video. I hope that it helped answer any questions you may or may not have had about this foundation. A big thank you again to all of you who did request this video. And let me know what you want to see next. Pretty much, I'm so tired. I'm going to go wash my face, jump into bed and read my book. And it's going to be magical. All right, guys, I love you so, so much, and I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye!